the very first thing he notices isn't actually the way your hair falls over your shoulders or the exact shade of lipstick you're wearing. It's your energy. Before his eyes even lock onto any single detail, there's this invisible presence you carry with you into a space. It's the way the air shifts slightly when you walk in, the confidence or hesitation in your stride, the feeling you radiate before a single word is exchanged. People often underestimate this, but that silent signal is louder than anything you could consciously do to grab attention. You've probably had moments where someone walked into the room and, without knowing exactly why, everyone turned their head. That wasn't about height or perfect looks or expensive clothes. It was about the energy they brought with them. That's what he notices first. Think about it. If you walk into a room anxious, shrinking into yourself, apologizing for taking up space, that's what he feels. And if you walk in with a calm sense of presence, like you're grounded and happy to be where you are, he feels that too. It's not about being the loudest or trying to force attention. It's about that quiet but magnetic energy that says, I know who I am and I'm comfortable being here. He picks up on that instantly, even if he doesn't consciously realize it. Men are incredibly sensitive to that initial vibe, and it shapes whether they feel drawn to you or not. The funny part is, so many people spend hours perfecting their look, obsessing over the right shoes or the right angle for their hair, but overlook the fact that none of it matters if their energy doesn't align. Because he can admire your dress, but if the way you carry yourself says you don't believe you're enough, that dress becomes invisible. On the other hand, when your energy is vibrant, playful or confident, even the simplest outfit looks magnetic. Have you ever seen someone in just jeans and a t-shirt who somehow outshines people in designer clothes? That's energy at work. This doesn't mean you need to be perfect. It's not about smiling constantly or pretending to be in a great mood when you're not. It's about authenticity. Your energy is most attractive when it feels real, when it reflects that you're comfortable in your own skin. When you're genuinely enjoying yourself, when you're not second-guessing whether you belong, that's when he secretly notices you most. It's the difference between walking into a room hoping someone likes you versus walking in knowing you're going to enjoy yourself, no matter who notices. Ironically, that's exactly what makes you impossible to ignore. Sometimes women think men are laser focused on physical details first, the shape of your body, your makeup, your outfit. But the truth is, those things don't even register until after they've felt your presence. Your energy is the backdrop that makes everything else noticeable. Without it, the details are just details. With it, everything you do becomes amplified. Your laugh becomes more infectious, your words carry more weight. Even your silence feels intentional rather than insecure. So when he first sees you, he doesn't just see a person, he feels you. He notices whether you carry lightness or heaviness, openness or hesitation. He may not even be able to explain why he feels drawn to you, but deep down, it's the energy you radiate that creates that pull. That's the thing he secretly notices, and it shapes the way everything else about you lands in his mind. And the beautiful part is, you don't need to change who you are to cultivate that energy. You just need to own it. The next thing he secretly notices, often without realizing it himself, is your smile or the absence of it. A smile is not just about beauty, it's an unspoken invitation, a signal that tells him whether you're approachable, playful, or guarded. It's not about having perfectly straight teeth or the kind of smile that belongs in a toothpaste commercial. It's about the feeling behind it, the warmth that comes through when you let yourself relax for a moment and allow joy to be seen. That small curve of your lips says more about you than most words could. Men are wired to pay attention to cues that make them feel safe to engage. A smile isn't just attractive, it lowers his defenses. It tells him you're not only present but open. Have you ever noticed how someone's whole face changes when they smile? Their eyes light up, their body softens, and suddenly they look completely different. That transformation isn't just visible to you, it's magnetic to him. It's the difference between someone who looks closed off and unapproachable and someone who radiates a quiet confidence that says, "It's okay to come closer." The power of a smile isn't in its perfection, it's in its authenticity. A forced or polite smile doesn't create the same effect. It feels flat, like something you've put on for the sake of politeness. But a genuine smile, one that comes from being caught up in a moment of laughter, or simply feeling comfortable in your own skin, that's unforgettable. That's what he notices and remembers. It makes you seem human, warm, and relatable, not distant or untouchable. And here's the part most people don't realize: a smile is contagious. When you smile at someone, their brain responds in a way that makes them want to mirror it. So when he sees you smile, it doesn't just make you attractive, it makes him feel good about himself. It's like a silent message that says, "I'm enjoying this, and you're welcome here." That's why even the smallest, most natural smile can create such a powerful effect. He's not just noticing you, he's feeling something because of you. Of course, this doesn't mean you need to walk around smiling nonstop, as if you're auditioning for a role in a commercial. In fact, that would have the opposite effect because it wouldn't feel real. What matters is that when you are genuinely engaged, when you laugh at something that amuses you, when you let your personality show through a simple grin, he can't help but notice. That moment of authenticity cuts through any surface level judgments. Sometimes people underestimate how much their expressions shape first impressions. You could have the most beautiful outfit, perfect hair, or flawless makeup, but if your expression is guarded or blank, it creates a wall. On the other hand, when your face softens with a smile, everything else about you comes alive. It makes your eyes brighter, your words more inviting, and your presence easier to connect with. That's what he notices first, even if he couldn't put it into words. The truth is, your smile is not just about attraction, it's about connection. It's the bridge between strangers and the moment that makes him think, "I want to know more." And that's why, when he secretly notices you, he's not just seeing how you look, he's experiencing the warmth you carry. That small, effortless act becomes the thing that makes you unforgettable long after the first glance. What he notices next isn't the brand of shoes you're wearing or whether your eyeliner is perfectly even. It's how you hold yourself long before he's close enough to hear your voice. Your body language is already speaking for you. The way you walk into a room, the way you stand, how you sit, even how you gesture when you're listening, it all sends signals. He may not be consciously dissecting your posture, but he feels it. He senses whether you're confident, open, relaxed, or if you're closed off, distracted, or trying to hide. Those subtle movements become the unspoken introduction before any words are exchanged. Posture is one of those things that tells a story without trying. When you carry yourself with your shoulders back, head lifted, and movements that feel natural, you send a message of self-assurance. You look like someone who belongs, someone who isn't apologizing for existing. That draws him in without you saying a word. But when your posture is slouched, arms crossed tightly, eyes down, it gives the impression that you'd rather disappear. And he notices that too. He may not think, "Oh, she has bad posture," but he will feel that something about your energy isn't inviting. The truth is, body language is more honest than words. You can say you're confident, but if your body says you're nervous, he believes the body. You can say you're fine, but if you're fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, or curling into yourself, he feels the tension. On the other hand, when you hold yourself with ease, it radiates an authenticity that doesn't need to be announced. It's not about striking a power pose or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about alignment between who you are and how you present yourself. That congruence is magnetic. What's interesting is that the way you hold yourself doesn't just affect how he sees you, It also affects how you feel about yourself in that moment. When you stand taller, breathe deeper, and carry yourself with presence, you feel more confident, and that confidence becomes visible. It's a loop. Your body shapes your state of mind, and your state of mind shapes your body. He notices when you've tapped into that, even if he doesn't know why you suddenly seem so attractive. And it's not just about confidence, it's about openness. A relaxed stance, uncrossed arms, leaning slightly forward when listening. These are all signals that you're engaged and approachable. They tell him, I'm present, I'm interested, I'm open to connection. Compare that to someone who constantly checks their phone, scans the room, or keeps their arms wrapped around themselves as if they're building a barrier. He picks up on the difference instantly. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. Little things make a huge impact. The way you walk across the room, hurried and tense, or calm and intentional. The way you sit, shrinking to take up less space, or comfortably owning the space you're in. Even the way you tilt your head when someone speaks to you shows whether you're truly engaged. He notices all of it, not in a judgmental checklist way, but in that subtle way men tune into signals of connection and safety. And here's the beauty of it: you don't need to perform or force anything. When you're relaxed, grounded, and comfortable in your own skin, your body naturally communicates it. That's when your movements flow, your presence feels magnetic, and you're noticed without even trying. So yes, he might see your outfit, your smile, your features, but it's the way you hold yourself that quietly tells him the truth about who you are. And that truth is what makes him lean in, curious to know more. What he notices in a way that feels almost magnetic is your eyes, and more specifically, where your attention is. Eyes are one of the most powerful connectors between two people because they reveal things you don't always put into words. Before you've said a single sentence, he can already sense something from the way you look at him, or don't. When your eyes meet his, even for just a moment, it carries weight. It can feel like confidence, like playfulness, like curiosity. And when your eyes avoid his, it can feel like disinterest, like hesitation, or like you're closed off. That tiny moment of connection tells him more about you than a long introduction ever could. Eye contact has a way of stripping away pretense. You can look beautiful, put together, perfectly dressed. But if your eyes are darting everywhere but toward him, he feels a barrier. On the other hand, when you let your gaze land on him for even a few seconds, it sparks something. It's not about staring him down or making things intense. It's about showing presence. A brief, genuine glance communicates that you're aware, you're comfortable, and you're open. That small moment is often what shifts him from noticing you to wanting to engage with you. And it's not just about whether you make eye contact, it's about how you do it. There's a difference between looking through someone and actually seeing them. When you really see someone, your eyes soften, they light up, they hold curiosity. That kind of attention makes a person feel acknowledged, like they matter in that moment. Men crave that just as much as women do. He secretly notices whether your gaze feels distracted or if it feels like you're present with him. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone kept scanning the room while you were talking? Even if they didn't mean it, it felt like you weren't enough to hold their attention. The same thing happens in reverse. If you're constantly glancing at your phone or looking past him, he feels dismissed, even without words. But when your eyes stay with him, when you're really listening, it creates a subtle but powerful pull. It tells him, I'm here, I see you. That moment of being seen is addictive, and it's something he notices right away. There's also something playful in the way eyes can communicate. A lingering glance, a quick look away with a smile, a spark that lingers for half a second longer than expected. These are the moments that make interactions unforgettable. They create tension, curiosity, and excitement without a single word being spoken. He might not even realize why he feels drawn in, but it's often because your eyes have told a story before your mouth ever did. Of course, not everyone is naturally comfortable with eye contact. Sometimes it feels too vulnerable, too revealing, but that's also why it's so powerful. When you allow someone to meet your eyes, you're letting them glimpse something real, and that authenticity is what makes you stand out. You don't have to lock eyes endlessly or perform. It's the quality of your attention that matters more than the length. Even a 2-second glance can say, I'm confident, I'm engaged, I'm open to connection. So when he first notices you, he isn't just noticing what color your eyes are, he's noticing how you use them, what they communicate, how present you are with them. He feels whether your attention is scattered or grounded, guarded or inviting. That's why the way you look at him often becomes the moment he remembers most. Long after he forgets what you were wearing, he'll remember how your eyes made him feel. And that feeling is what makes him lean in and want more. What he secretly notices next isn't whether you're wearing the most expensive outfit in the room, or if your accessories came straight out of a fashion magazine. What he actually pays attention to is your effortless style, the way you've chosen to put yourself together in a way that reflects you. Men don't think in terms of brand names, price tags, or whether your shoes are in season. What strikes him first is the overall impression. Do you look like someone who's comfortable in her own skin, or do you look like you're trying to be someone else? That feeling comes across instantly, and it matters more than any individual piece of clothing. There's something magnetic about someone who wears what suits them rather than what they think they're supposed to wear. It doesn't mean you need to dress up extravagantly or always look polished. In fact, some of the most memorable impressions are made when your style feels effortless, when it looks like you're at ease with what you're wearing, and it complements your energy instead of competing with it. He notices when your outfit matches your personality, when your style feels like an extension of you rather than a mask to hide behind. Men are less detail-oriented about fashion than most women think. He's not breaking down whether the shade of your dress is slightly off or whether your bag matches your shoes. What he picks up on is the overall harmony. Do you look like you've made peace with who you are? Or do you look like you're seeking validation through what you wear? That's what registers, even if he can't articulate it. When your style feels authentic, it tells him something powerful that you know yourself. Think about those moments when you've seen someone in the simplest outfit, just jeans and a t-shirt, but somehow they outshined everyone else in the room. It wasn't the fabric or the cut, it was the way they wore it, the ease they carried themselves with, the confidence that made something ordinary look magnetic. That's exactly what he notices when he looks at you. It's not the label, it's the way you embody your look. Effortless style also has to do with the small details you might not think he picks up on. He notices when you've chosen something that makes you feel good, because that feeling comes through in your energy. He notices when you look comfortable, when you're not tugging at your clothes or adjusting yourself every few minutes. Those little signals reveal whether you're at ease or self-conscious. And when you are at ease, it frees him to feel at ease around you too. Of course, there's a subtle difference between effortless style and neglect. It's not about not caring at all. It's about choosing with intention and then letting it go. When you look like you've put in a thoughtful but natural effort, it sends a message. I value myself, but I don't need to prove it. That balance is incredibly attractive because it shows self-awareness without desperation. It makes him feel like he's seeing the real you, not a curated performance. And here's the beauty: your effortless style doesn't have to look like anyone else's. For one person, it might mean a polished dress with minimal jewelry. For another, it could be sneakers and a casual jacket that highlight a playful, relaxed vibe. What makes it magnetic isn't the specific choice, but the authenticity behind it. He notices when your style matches your energy, when what you're wearing feels like it belongs to your personality instead of trying to mimic someone else's. So when he sees you, yes, he may compliment your dress or your hair, but what he's really drawn to is the feeling your style communicates. He notices whether you're comfortable, whether you're present, whether your choices amplify who you are rather than overshadow it. That's why the details don't matter as much as you think. What matters is that sense of effortlessness, the quiet confidence that comes from looking like yourself. And that's the part that lingers in his mind long after the moment has passed. What he secretly notices, often before he even realizes it himself, is your emotional availability. This isn't about wearing your heart on your sleeve or telling your life story the moment you meet. It's about the invisible signal you give off that tells him whether you're open to connection or whether you've already built walls around yourself. Men are extremely sensitive to this energy, even if they can't describe it. He notices whether you seem approachable, whether you give off warmth, or whether your energy suggests distance. That first impression shapes how much he feels drawn to you, even more than your looks or your words. Emotional availability is something you can feel in an instant. It's in the way you respond when someone makes eye contact with you, whether you acknowledge them with a soft expression or look away immediately. It's in the way you carry yourself in a conversation. Are you listening, engaging, reacting, or are you guarded, distracted, and half present? He picks up on this quickly because it determines whether he feels like there's space for him in your world. That openness doesn't mean you have to be ready to give him everything. It simply means you're present enough to allow a genuine connection to form. People often think attraction is built only on appearance, but attraction without emotional availability fizzles out fast. You can look incredible, but if you seem like you're not open to being seen, he won't feel that pull to come closer. On the other hand, when your energy feels approachable and light, it gives him permission to step into your space. That doesn't mean you need to smile all the time or pretend to be cheerful if you're not. Authentic availability is about being present, engaged, and real. He notices when your energy says, "I'm here and I'm open to what unfolds." It's also in the subtleties of how you engage with the world around you. Do you laugh easily? Do you respond when someone tries to make a small joke? Do you allow yourself to enjoy the moment? Those signals tell him you're open to connection. Compare that to someone who looks like they're closed off, arms folded, eyes scanning the room for an exit. The difference is night and day. One feels inviting, the other feels untouchable. He doesn't always consciously label it as emotional availability, but he feels it deeply. What's powerful is that emotional availability is not about perfection, it's about vulnerability. When you allow someone to see a little bit of the real you, when you're willing to engage without fear of judgment, you become magnetic. Men notice that because it's rare. So many people walk into situations carrying fear, guardedness, or past baggage that makes them inaccessible. When you're different, when you're grounded enough to simply be present, it stands out immediately. He feels drawn to you not just because of how you look, but because of how you make him feel when he's near you. And here's the truth. Emotional availability doesn't mean you're always happy or always ready for love. It means you're not hiding from connection. You're willing to show up, to listen, to engage, and to let moments happen. He notices when your energy says, "I'm willing to be here with you," instead of, "I'm already somewhere else in my head." That's the signal that turns an encounter into something meaningful. So when he secretly notices you, it's not just about your smile, your body language, or your style. It's about the way you make him feel in that unspoken space between words. If your presence carries openness instead of resistance, curiosity instead of judgment, warmth instead of distance, he feels it instantly. And that's what makes you unforgettable. Emotional availability is the silent invitation that tells him there's more to discover And it's that invisible quality that he notices long before he has the words to explain it.